I'm Danica Lorer. Welcome to Lit Happens, your celebration of the literary arts here in Saskatchewan. Today we have something really special. To mark National Poetry Month, we have the Saskatchewan Poet Laureate, Carol Rose GoldenEagle, here with us to chat about her new poetry book. I'm so excited to talk to Carol again. We are used to seeing each other in person once in a while, and even on a screen, I'm still really excited to talk to her. Carol, welcome to the program.
It is so wonderful to see you, Danica. Like I said, it would be great to see you in person, but we will do that at some point, I know.
So it's really exciting to talk to you every time I get to talk to you, but it's such a delight to talk to you as poet laureate as well. It's such a lovely role to have in this province that has so many incredible poets. So what has it felt like to be the poet laureate?
Well, it's been probably not as busy as it would have been normally because of COVID and distancing and that reality that we've all been living in for more than a couple of years now. But I will be going to Miller High School in the next couple of days. And I'm finally starting in-person visitations again with community groups, libraries, schools, basically encouraging anybody to say, you know what, you are a poet. And the reason I say that is because the workshops that I facilitate, people will so often come in and the first thing they'll say is, I'm not really a poet, but, and then they'll start reading something that they've written, and it's always beautiful or profound, or it's filled with emotion and color and movement. So I have to say to them, there is one thing you are never allowed to do, and that is to say, I am not a writer, because you are. If you were not a writer, you wouldn't come to writing workshops, as an example. So it's wonderful as poet laureate to be in a position where I encourage bad behavior in a way, because people are they have these amazing thoughts that they want to put to poetry, but what stops them is they worry about what other people will think, or they worry that, oh, well, this isn't the way a poem is structured. And in terms of, I guess, the evolution of poetry, and I'm only going to talk about my own life and my own observances. When I was a kid or a teenager, and we were taught poetry in school, it was roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and I love you. Everything must rhyme, you know? And that's how I was initially taught. And that is not poetry, where I guess it could be, but it has evolved to the point where it involves spoken word, it involves movement and all of these other creative aspects. And I'm really excited about getting people getting people excited about wanting to express themselves in that way. So in terms of the role of being poet laureate, I get to go out and encourage people to be creative and to write. And that is wonderful.
And we're also here to celebrate your new book of poetry. I love your last book of poetry, and I love your novels. And this is a really beautiful. It's like a love letter to families. It's such a wonderful gift. Would you read to us a poem from this collection? And it's
I
called
will.
Essential Ingredients.
Essential Ingredients is the name of the poetry manuscript. And I wanted to have Essential Ingredients as the name because the entire manuscript is all about my children and how blessed I am to be their mom, and all of the memories that we've shared over the course of our lives so far. They're now in their mid 20s. Where does the time go? But they have always been really imaginative and creative and colorful characters who are real. And it occurred to me, when they don't live with me anymore because they're out and doing their post-secondary studies. And when they are home, we sit out in the fire pit in my yard And we talk about, oh, do you remember when we did this? Or do you remember that time we went to Banff? And just all sorts of memories that they talk about and funny moments. And I thought, if I don't write this down, those moments are going to be lost in memory. And I wanted that to be something that we always remember. And someday they will have children. And so those grandkids of mine will be able to read about their parents at that time, when they were kids. And so that's what this is. It is a series of love letters to my children. You are exactly right. That's how it started out, the idea. And it turned into, various pieces of poetry. The title, Essential Ingredients. Food has always been a huge part of our lives. And in the book is a few recipes. There are a few recipes that are our favorites and also have memory. So here's one. I call it DNA. And there are some Cree words in here, just so you know, before I begin. So the word Nikawi is mother. The word Muskwa is bear. Kokam is grandmother. And Nichanis is my daughter, just so you know. So this is a story that my kids told me when they were little. They made it up, and I thought, you know what? I love it. So I will turn it into a poem. So this one is called DNA. It is told and retold of how Kokam killed a bear with a river rock, an arm like Ronnie Lancaster, that old Saskatchewan Rough Rider. She throws with precision at Muskwa's third eye. It is a baby's soft spot. That bear falls hard as Coyote watches from the bush and then spreads the word quickly. I tell this story to Nachanis that while Cookham is out picking berries, she is never stalked again because of throwing that rock. And my daughter, she wants to hear the story again tonight. Repetition. It is how my 5-year-old daughter learns. For her, this memory is a medicine. It is warm, like the Vicks that I rub on her throat tonight. My daughter wears the story like a protective shield and honors it like a jingle dress. The stories ingested are like comfort food, bringing proud memory, stories flowing through our strong bloodline, a meandering river, an ocean of courage, stories. When she turns 10, Nichanis asks, am I pretty, Nikawi? I love it when she calls me mama in her Kokum's language, our Cree language. It has spirit, and so does she. And I tell her, no, no, you are not pretty. You are beautiful in every possible way. I tell her that she makes me proud, and I say she reminds me of Kokum. They have the same eyes. They share the same smile. Strength, genetic memory. Nichanis then asks me to retell that story again about the day that Kokum killed a bear with a river rock. And that is that story.
Oh, thank you so much, Carol. I think one of the wonderful things that poetry does is that it connects us, and these little beautiful stories remind us of our own little beautiful stories and our own memories. And I think that that's such a powerful way to bring good into this life that we have that's pretty wacky right now. So I we're almost out of time, but do you just have a final comment for us today? It's been such a delight to talk to you.
Yeah, I really hope that other people in terms of essential ingredients, which is my latest poetry manuscript, and my first one is Hiraeth, and I have another one coming out in the fall. But in terms of the one that was recently released, Essential Ingredients, I really hope that all parents, all grandparents will also make the effort to write down the beauty that they experience and that they see every single time you are with your children or grandchildren, because those moments pass quickly, but they are so precious and beautiful. They deserve to be preserved somehow. And doing it as part of the written word is one of the best ways. So I would encourage, write, 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 write.
Oh, thank you, Carol. That's great advice for everyone, and it doesn't matter what you write or how you write or how much you write, just to keep those stories alive. It's been such an honor to talk to you again. Thanks for being on the show. I'm Danica Lorer. You can find past episodes of Lit Happens by finding us on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram, or contact me at danicalorer@gmail.com if you have an idea for a show. Thanks for watching.